All right, comrades in the house, welcome everyone to Progressive Discussions and Mega Life 21 live combination. This is our New Year's Eve 2020 countdown special show, New Age Mysticism and Healing. And I'm here with the one and only Damien Owens. Damien, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fairly decent. It was pretty warm today. We broke a record. The hottest day that we had this year, at least for this time of year. The record was set back in 1954. It was 70 degrees. Today it hit 74 in Northeast Tennessee for December.
And we're complaining that the low 40s Fahrenheit is too warm over here in northeastern New Jersey. But yeah, it's really well, hey, the Arctic ice sheet is really melting. The satellites prove it, but you know, of course, the right wingers don't believe in climate change. We have a Danny Knox saying hi. Where are you from, Danny Knox? What region are you
Danny.
from? Hi, Danny. Welcome aboard to our show. Let me just ring the world's largest, most obnoxious jingle bell. Hold on. Let me. I do this every year. This came from a dollar store, by the way. So anyway, now, okay, all right, never mind. All right, the topic of this week's New Age Mysticism and Healing is the minor arcana. This time the suit is cups. Damien Owens is going to describe cups. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Danny Knox says climate accord is Calgary, Alberta, Canada. A real Ontario. Hey, I thought the French Canadians said that Quebec is the best Canada according to the South Park. According to South Park song, which I love that song. How did it go again? French Canada is the best Canada. It was a real catchy tune. Learn from it. No, climate change is real. Don't be a corporate suck up and believe big oil or big pharma. No, it's real. It's real. Don't be, listen, everywhere I worked, there was always the brown nosing sycophant in the company. And the people that believe Republicans, that trickle down economics is real, and corporate CEOs can run our country better than big government. You believe all that bullshit. It's nothing but bullshit. And you people out there are lemmings headed for the cliff. And you know what? Good riddance to bad rubbish. Okay, now we're going to turn it over right now to Mr. Damien Owens so he can begin the suit of cups.
Okay, so we've done a few videos here recently about the tarot cards. The first one was of the Major Arcana, the complete Major Arcana. Then we did the suit of Swords, then the suit of Wands. Now we're going to be doing the suit of Cups. There will be one more after this one for the suit of Pentacles. So let's go ahead and dive into Cups. So Cups are associated with emotions, and their element is water. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So for our first card, we have the Ace of Cups. So anytime this pops up, then there's going to be some new emotional inspiration to do something. Like it could be finally tackling that task or that particular hobby that you've been wanting to do, or depending upon which type of reading we are doing, this could even be a new love relationship. So definitely a positive card whenever this shows up. Okay, so next we're going to move to the Two of Cups. Now, if you have the Two of Cups paired with the Ace of Cups paired with the Two of Cups, then it definitely is a new love relationship. So you can tell that these are two people coming together to form a relationship. Or it could also be, what else could this potentially be? This could also be, finally getting emotions together to do something, whether it's with another person or doing it with a friend, a family member, a lover, what have you. Another positive sign. All right, next we move on to the Three of Cups. So anytime a Three of Cups comes together, then this is the coming together of emotions to actually do something. So if this were to show up, it means doing something together as a group. This usually would mean that this would be a collective idea and collective work, people coming together with the same ideas and the same emotions to get something done. All right. Next, we're going to move on to the Four of Cups. So when the Four of Cups shows up, it means that, you've tried different things and you've not been satisfied, as according to this guy right here, but something new will be coming. This will be like a new way of thinking or a new way of doing something. Definitely a much wanted as well as positive card when it comes to something like doing hobbies or getting work done, what have you. So far, all of the cup cards have been positive cards, but what goes up must always come down with the Five of Cups. So anytime the Five of Cups show up, then this could mean that, you're emotionally distraught. You feel as though the emotions that you have been putting forward to something are just getting you nowhere. Most of the time, whenever this pops up, just take a break, relax. You made progress, but it may require just looking at it from a little bit of a different perspective, but eventually you will overcome this. And it will also be showed with the Six of Cups. So Six of Cups is heavily associated with generosity. So if you've been wanting to do something and you've got manifestation to show you've been doing something emotionally, or whenever someone has been doing something emotionally and they want to give advice or help you along the way to see what needs to be done to get you to your emotional goal, this is what this is for. Definitely a positive card. All right. Now, this one's not really a positive or a negative card. It's a neutral card, but it's also a pathway card. The Seven of Cups. So anytime the Seven of Cups shows up, this is a time to look back at your progress, but to see, where exactly do you want to take this? So you can definitely tell there's a variety of different paths that you can go down in order to achieve your goal. But be careful to pick the right one, because sometimes having too much variety or having too many pathways could potentially send you down a path you don't want to go down. So just be aware of that. So next, we move on to the Eight of Cups. Whenever the Eight of Cups show up, then it's time to gather your emotions and keep going. You've made progress, but you're almost at the end of your journey, but persevere, and perseverance and patience will pay off. So we're just about done with our journey with the Nine of Cups. So anytime the Nine of Cups show up, this is a time to, brag on yourself a little bit, have a little celebration, because You've done the work, and you've done positive work, and you've got the means to show for it. All right, and then of course we come to the conclusion with our 10 of Cups. So anytime the 10 of Cups show up, then you've achieved your goal, you've gotten to where you need to go, and whenever you've gotten to where you need to go, it's either time to go back to the Ace to start all over again, or we're going to progress up through the court cards. So definitely when this card shows up, you put in the work, you have a lot to show for it, pat yourself on the back, and celebrate. So now we've gone through the 1 through 10. Now here is the court cards. All right. First, we start with the Page of Cups, getting in touch with our young feminine energy. So this could also be getting in touch with your more mothering nature, or this could be creativity, artistic ideas and emotions, and things of that sort. Now, with creativity must come logic with the Knight of Cups. Young masculine energy. So anytime the Knight of Cups show up, it's time to take your creativity and let's ground it with some logic. Let's not be out there in la la land, but with this being logistical, eventually it will manifest. And lastly, the last two cards, we show the Queen of Cups. So now we're getting in touch with our mature feminine energy. So anytime the Queen of Cups show up, this could be actually seeking counsel or advice from your mother, grandmother, or someone who is a mother figure to you, or someone who is a mother figure in what it is that you're trying to do. And to conclude everything, once we've gotten everything that we need from our mature feminine energy as well as our young feminine as well as masculine energy, to conclude it all, we now get in touch with our mature masculine side. So now that we've sought even more counseling and a little bit more creativity, finally, we're going to set everything in motion that needs to be set in motion to just get this done. We're going to do it logistically, but we can also do it creatively. But this will also be counseling from either your father, grandfather, a father figure, or someone who is like a father figure in what it is that you're trying to do. But he will set you on the right path to get whatever it is done that you want to get done, to get back to your ace. And that is the conclusion of the Suit of Cups.
Now the cups, it generally speaking represents emotion, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay, all right, and that there you go. You just got the explanation of the next to the last minor arcana suit. And you said there's one more.
Yes, the Pentacles.
The Pentacles, which look like coins. Dinero,
correct.
Or the gold. Yeah. So, I just want to show. I took out. My brother-in-law got me this for Christmas. The dark amethyst.
Ooh,
stone,
that's pretty.
Which emphasizes. I mean, not enhances. I'm sorry. Which enhances psychic ability. So this is raw amethyst, and the deeper the gemstone, whether it be precious or semi-precious, the more it is valued, the more it is worth. It could be a dark sapphire, ruby, emerald, in this case, amethyst. I think the amethyst and the tanzanite are the only purple stones that exist. And so I'm going to, let me just, what am I doing? I should, there you go. So the folks out there in cyberspace and throughout the universe, intergalactic viewers can see the beauty of nature, of geology, gemology. There you go. And I'm going to put this right smack in the middle of my monitor. So when we do the divining rods, or if anyone wants a short reading, tarot card reading from Damien Owens, this is kind of like an antenna to the astral world. So It's really pretty. I'm really happy. I really thank my brother-in-law for this wonderful, natural, uh, very unique Christmas present. And I have this set in my mini Gothic cathedral shrine that I've created, um, with the gargoyles and everything and the sugar skulls. So I'm going to set this down, and then we are going to. I want to discuss. Oh, yeah, I don't want to mess with my 3 terabyte external solid state hard drive here.
Oh no.
No, I don't want to fuck that up. Okay, that's good. All right, so it's right in the middle of the monitor. All right, and it's sort of like a pyramid. Maybe it was cut that way deliberately. Let me take a sip of the homemade wine that the old Italian geezer made every December. Okay, I want to bring up something that I've had personal experience with, and that is right-wing, fanatical, zealot people, religious, fanatical zealots. They are always right-wing because they almost always want to close down Planned Parenthood or blow them up, or and they think that they believe that a fertilized egg is a baby, a conception. Now, it doesn't have to be necessarily in a Baptist church. It doesn't have to be an evangelical church. It doesn't have to be non-denominational. In this case, I have found these right-wing zealots in Roman Catholic Church. I'm trying to analyze exactly what makes them tick. They are arrogant. They are pretentious, which means snobbery, right? Snob. And you can find pretentious people in all walks of life, not just religion.
Right.
They are very judgmental. They think they have a bat phone to God. They pretty much like to tell other people how to live their lives. And in this case, I quit the playing my African drum with the entertainers at the very large Roman Catholic Church, which is 10 seconds to the left of where I live. I quit because the head musician, who is in charge of the troupe, he plays guitar, he plays piano, he's a cantor, he sings for the church, but he also used to do gigs. He has a background. He has a nightclub background. He's one of those entertainers, typical entertainers, that does not like to share the spotlight with anyone that he thinks is stealing his thunder. Now, he's not the only one like this. I've met countless other musicians, entertainers that are like this too. They're so paranoid and insecure about somebody stealing their thunder, or maybe they have to share the spotlight. So what he's been doing is slowly, week by week, discriminating against my playing of the djembe drum, which is similar to a conga. So then remarks from other parishioners reminded me of the people that I encountered at a Methodist church that I was invited to by this Korean woman who owns a bakery in H Mart. She took me there. The Koreans were fine. It's the other people that I encountered. Now, I have no tolerance for people that think they know it all, and they think that if there is a God, they have a bat phone to God. And like I said, they're judgmental, self-righteous, sanctimonious, whatever words you want to use. And I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to get up early in the morning on a Sunday after going out to a nightclub with my friends and getting home real late, like I did, 5 a.m., I'm not gonna drag my ass over there to be humiliated by a bunch of zealot, judgmental people. Now, that's the best way I can describe these individuals. They uh, they show off when they pray. You know, they got their arms up in the air. They're kneeling on the floor, and they're like, "Ah, blah, 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 blah." They think, what is this supposed to be, an antenna to God? It's an antenna. If they put their arms all the way up, and these are the people that stick their 2 cents in their Pinocchio nose, telling you how to run your life, telling you what's wrong with you, what you need to do. Um, One of the people that made comments about my drum is also a person says, "Oh, you haven't been to church before this? You haven't been to church in what? Years? But oh, you need to go to confession. You better talk to the priest. You better make an appointment with the priest." Oh, so the way she's carrying on, she's looking at me like I need an exorcism. You know, I mean, now by the tone of her voice, sanctimonious person, self-righteous, uh, like the way she was talking to me, talking down to me, she sounded like she was way up on Mount Olympus, closer to God than me, and that I'm this lowly sinner, that because I don't go to church every waking moment like she does, and I don't get on my knees on the floor, on a bare floor, and put my arms up in the air and close my eyes like this, because I don't do what she does. She's superior to me. All right. I just needed to get that off my chest about zealots.
Oh man.
Now, I'm sure you have your opinion on these zealots too.
Oh yeah, you better believe it. I mean, my mom's side of the family, they are Pentecostal.
Oh, they can get emotional during service.
Yeah.
I heard a chuckle.
Yeah, my wife. Anytime we talk about something like this, she kind of gets a little chuckle out of it. So
Well, I get a chuckle out of it too, but you know what? I just gained a lot of sleep because I don't have to drag my ass in there because I quit every
right. Well, my mom's side of the family is Pentecostal. My dad's side is not really all that religious. Now, my wife's side, they are apostolic. Yeah, thank you, apostolic.
I never heard of apostolic. What exactly is that?
All right. What exactly is apostolic, babe?
The basic church is very religious.
They're very religious.
They don't watch TV. They
Don't watch
wear their
TV.
hair out. They wear the long shirts,
Okay.
long sleeve shirts, long skirts, stuff like that.
So
like the Amish.
Kind of like the Amish, but I mean, they have nothing against modern medicine, modern technology. It's just they choose not to do it.
Okay. Like Scientologists have a problem with medical doctors, I think. Also, they have their own. But anyway, that's a cult. That's more of a cult. So yeah. So we're people that like the Amish. They live in their own world, but they don't really go out and proselytize and try to convert and bother anybody. I mean, they pretty much keep to themselves. So and their food is great, all their organic farming and everything. And from what I understand, they never really kept slaves at all, like the founding fathers did. The Amish work their farms. They're not lazy, and but they keep to themselves. They don't want any modern technology in the home. And I don't know how they probably have a lot of children because there's really
they do
there's nothing better to do with your time if you don't have TV, internet, or a movie theater, or what else could you do, really? I mean, radio.
For the Amish, I mean, they'll use a old telephone, but it just can't be in the home. If it's like in the barn, it's kind of like a community phone. They have nothing against that. They'll go to the doctor. They'll take medicine. They have absolutely nothing against that. But they will come into touch with technology, and they will use it if they're away from their farm. Because like when I lived in Virginia and I worked at Walmart, there was an Amish community that lived out in the country, and they would come into Walmart, and yes, they would use the self-checkout, but they never would use a debit or a credit card. They would always pay in cash.
Okay. I hear the Mennonites are not as conservative and strict as the Amish. They're a little lenient, but they're similar. Then there's Quakers. I was never a fan of organized religion. Just like Jesse Ventura says, it's
Jesse Ventura.
It's for weak-minded people. He says organized religion is for weak-minded people.
It is.
That need some big daddy in the sky floating on a cloud to tell them how they should live and so on and so forth. His first day on the job as governor of Minnesota, the feds were like in his office watching him immediately.
Yeah.
Federal agents were in there. He tells a story about, how, maybe he just, I don't know why he didn't run for re-election. Maybe he just couldn't handle the bullshit, with the establishment.
I mean, yeah, what you were talking about, they were in his office. They were in there because they were watching him, but they were also giving him briefings on 9/11.
Well, I watched his program on so-called True TV, and I don't think I think it's the wrong choice in calling that network True TV, because they pulled many of his shows and then eventually canceled his show Conspiracy Theory. Now, the first show they canceled was the FEMA camp episode.
Seen it.
When they had the plastic caskets all piled high with the barbed wire fences, and they wouldn't tell Jesse Ventura's people that were investigating. They wouldn't answer any questions, except they said something stupid, that the barbed wire is to keep the people inside safe from outside dangers. And then all of a sudden the caskets were removed, like the next day, I think. The plastic caskets were removed. That's the first episode that was pulled.
Ooh.
And then he had the HAARP, the manipulation of the weather, government secret manipulation of the weather.
They needed a time travel episode.
Yeah, and I think some of the people he interviewed were putting themselves in danger. I don't know why he didn't like have them talk in the dark and alter their voices when they were being interviewed, but they pretty much were right in front of them. They were giving like the deathbed confession people that you see on some of these extraterrestrial shows, UFO shows, where you have the person who was a Air Force officer that knew everything, and like the one that knew every fine detail of the Roswell, New Mexico crash, and he was on his deathbed, and he decided to give the tell-all, and then he was going to die anyway. So
yeah, same thing when he did the JFK conspiracy episode.
Yeah. So I posted something on True TV's Facebook page telling them that they should. How come they don't play the reruns of like on a weekend or at a late time slot of Conspiracy Theory? Because they were pushing his show later and later and later at a later time slot. So they were pushed. They were in the process of pushing him out the door. And then I said, well, you shouldn't call your. He says, oh no, He says, uh, conspiracy theory is property of True TV, something like that. I says, well, you shouldn't call yourself True TV because true is a wrong choice of words. So the person in charge of their Facebook page pretty much cursed me out, which was not professional of them to use such language, because I wasn't cursing at them, and that was that, you know. So now I'm sure the episodes are on YouTube
They
until,
are.
yeah, you know, so is everything else. Um,
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because one day, me and one of my friends, we decided to test the lone gunman theory of Lee Harvey Oswald, how he pulled off those 3 shots within 6 seconds. So what we did was we took paper targets and we set them up at different intervals to try to recreate these shots. And we put the center target or the first target as stationary. Then we put the second and third targets to where they can move. Because when the first shot hit, when he got hit here, you know, it would have sped up and they would have been looking to see where the shots were coming from, but to get him out of there. And I can tell you, me and my friend, we're not, you know, gun experts, but we are fairly decent shots with bolt action rifles. No way. There is absolutely no way we were able to pull off those shots. I think my best time was like 13, 14 seconds. And I think my friend got it down to 11 seconds. We were like, and he pulled these 3 shots off in 6 seconds? Yeah, bullshit.
hmm.
Now,
Well,
granted, we weren't using an old bolt action rifle. We were using a newer bolt action rifle. I think it was like a mid 2000s Remington bolt action. It's a great hunting rifle, and the scope was sighted in very well, and it was accurate. But we could not pull off those 3 shots in 6 seconds and actually hit them with accuracy.
yeah, well, he did. This assassination occurred after a very controversial, revealing speech by JFK. And he did reveal a lot in his many speeches, and he was very progressive. Even Dwight D. Eisenhower was somewhat progressive for a Republican. But so was Teddy Roosevelt, somewhat. But anyway, the getting back to like 9/11, I mean, he proved that it was that the blast came from the lowest level.
It did.
Okay, and then the residue of the powder found, and that the fact that the temperature of burning jet fuel of a crashed plane could not melt the steel frame of that building. They scientifically proved that. And then you had G.W. Bush and his windbreakers saying we're gonna go get them people that knocked down these buildings, you know. And then of course the military industrial complex. Dick Cheney was probably the boss of that administration, most likely. And then the wars for profit began, and the debt on a credit card, as Bernie Sanders likes to call it, the war on a credit card.
Mm-hmm. And we have absolutely nothing to show for it.
Yeah, and then the Pentagon was like missing trillions that and they're like, oops, we don't know what happened to that money.
Yep.
Oh yeah, what about the plane that crashed into the Pentagon? Supposedly, they Jesse Ventura investigated that, and some woman that was fired from the Pentagon, black lady, who was, you know, talking to Ventura's people during that episode, saying that she doesn't remember seeing any plane uh, collide with the Pentagon, and
Right. And the ones that are out there fake.
yeah, and then there was another plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, I think. What do they call it when the government false flag
False flag terror operation.
terror operations? They pull that. My ex-wife is Colombian, and she told me they pull that crap in Colombia. False flag to make the FARC, to make the communist guerrillas look bad.
Hmm. But get on off 9/11 for a moment. So I rewatched the footage of the JFK assassination a few years ago, and believe it or not, in the footage you can see exactly who killed JFK. And if you don't believe me, go back and rewatch the footage. But the gun, I'm going to say it was a gun woman. And not a gunman, a gun woman who pulled the trigger. His own wife, Jackie, killed him. Okay.
What did she have? Like a little Derringer or close range?
And if you watch the footage, it was perfectly set up. So as he comes around the corner and he comes into Dealey Plaza, so they've got different assassins at different angles. So there was someone up in the school book depository where Lee Harvey Oswald was. There was someone there, but that was there for a diversionary tactic. So the first shot came here, hit right through his throat. This shot was taken from the grassy knoll. So now they've got him in this triangular turkey shoot. They've got the grassy knoll over here, the book depository. They've got him triangulated at this particular point. First shot, grassy knoll. He's holding his throat. Other shots are ringing out. Now, the other shots may have potentially been blanks to draw attention away from the motorcade, because people are hitting the deck, there's chaos, there's confusion, and nobody really knows what's going on. They're trying to see where all these shots are coming from. Nobody's looking at the motorcade. They know he's been shot, but they're just trying to get him out of there. They know he's been shot. The Secret Service is going to do their job. The public is looking all different directions. So we've got a bunch of pandemonium going on. So now that the attention is diverted away from the motorcade, you'll notice as he is holding his throat, he is looking down at the floor, and you'll notice Jackie is holding him at a particular angle, and you notice she slips a little something or another right here back behind his ear, and all of a sudden you see this part of his head blow out. And she keeps this little derringer hidden underneath her hand, and as she tries to escape out of the back of the motorcade, that Secret Service agent stops her and grabs her hand, but in fact she slipped that gun to that Secret Service agent and they drove off. So yes, Jackie pulled the trigger.
Fascinating. Fascinating. And the average American is, I'm sure, unaware of this fact. And now I think it's time for some copper divining rods, because we don't have anybody asking for a short tarot card reading. Things are a little slow, but it's recorded, so people can always watch the recording. Okay, Mr. Damien Owens, concerning what you just explained, do you have any questions for the divining rods?
Yes, I do. I got multiple ones, actually. So I've been thinking about going and seeing my old boss, see about getting my new job back. Should I still do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Should I do it this week? So I was thinking about going Monday or Tuesday. Okay, should I do it Monday? Okay, not Monday. Tuesday.
Hold on. It writes itself.
Okay.
Tuesday? Oh.
Okay, Tuesday. So should I call or visit? Phone call? Okay, how about visiting in person? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't understand why a phone call and not just, talking to him in person.
well, maybe it's like to see if the right personnel manager is there before you drive over.
Well, I mean, I was going to talk with, well, let's see, who should I talk to? Should I talk to Rebecca? Okay. Should I also talk to Raymond? Okay, I should talk with both of them because Rebecca was the head of the front end and Raymond is the store manager. That's why I asked that. So, let's see what are some other questions. Okay, so remember the one I was telling you a few weeks ago that my dad is still hanging around and paying Wyatt a visit? Is that really him? Okay. So let's see here. Okay, now that we've established that it's really him, why is he hanging around? Is it because he doesn't want to go to the other side? Okay.
No.
All right. Now this may feel like an insulting question, but is it because he feels as though I've not grown up or never will grow up?
So he's like being like a guardian to you, meanwhile you're a grown man.
Mm-hmm. Well, typical of my parents. They'd always say I'd never grow up. So,
Okay. Let me ask a question. All the conspiracy theories that Damien Owens had mentioned before that are now based on fact, is everything he said true? Yes.
ooh.
Okay. Now back to the will he receive his tarot card diploma and pass with flying colors, Damien Owens? Yes. Yeah, I know you will.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've been slowly doing the work, slowly but surely. Let's see here. So, is he intending on staying around for a long time, my father? Hmm.
Yeah, that wasn't that wasn't his father. That was something. Yeah, yeah, he's gonna stick around. Maybe. I wonder why. I wonder if departed spirits all see the portal for moving on to the other side, and then they determine whether or not they want to go through the portal. Is that true that all departed spirits have access to the portal, or maybe a bright white light, the portal, to go to the other side? Okay, and they consciously stay behind for whatever reason? Okay.
I'm curious. Well, we have a little bit of a rain shower coming in. Let's see. How about is it raining outside?
We had cold, icy rain a lot, quite often here.
Well, we've got a storm blowing in, so I wonder. Oh, it's coming down pretty good out there.
Is it windy? Do you have trees bending?
No, but the wind was blowing a lot today, so I don't know if this is coming from the Gulf or if this is coming from up north, but it has been, fairly warm because on Christmas Day, I went to the family get together in jeans and a t-shirt.
Oh,
wow. It was 65 degrees on Christmas.
Well, when a cold front and a warm front meet, that's when you get the storms. The weather's. I've never seen weather like this unseasonably abnormal weather for.
I can think of one instance. Back in 2002, I want to say, yeah, 2002, 2001 going into 2002. It was when I was in second grade, and we didn't miss a lot of school that year. We went to school, and I think we missed maybe 1 or 2 days out of that whole year because in January we were able to go outside and play in recess because it was in the 70s. So that's one I can remember, 2002. I was talking with my grandma and my great aunt because we were talking about just how weird this weather was, and I asked them, "Have you ever witnessed a Christmas this warm before?" And my great aunt said yes. She remembered it one time back in the early 80s, like 80. I want to say like 81, 82, that it was around this temperature, and they had went fishing on Christmas Day in jeans and a t-shirt.
Wow.
So yeah, we can have warm Christmases down here, but it's few and far between.
Now, is there anyone out there viewing that would like to ask the Divining Rods a question or get a short tarot reading based on a issue you have in your life? Is there anyone out there at the moment? Going once, going twice. No. Okay. So I don't know what this Danny Knox was getting at. I don't know if they're just. You never know who they are. It's like playing with a Ouija board. You never know. You never know what you're communicating with. Now, I was watching the show on the Travel Channel last night, Paranormal Caught on Tape, and they were discussing shadow people. Divining rods. Are shadow people extraterrestrials that come here through interdimensional travel? No.
They're not. Okay.
Are shadow people beings, either spiritual or otherwise, that are from a parallel universe or who live in another dimension? Yes. So what you're saying is shadow people, are they demons? No. Okay, so they are beings from another dimension. Are they from another dimension? Yeah. Is that synonymous with a parallel universe? Yeah. Okay. So they're coming here interdimensionally. So they're originally from another dimension and they come through a portal into our world. Yes. When they showed them on camera, it was weird because it was all the lights were off in the home, but the shadow people are darker than dark. So you can see like the silhouette of they're human shaped, but they're black, like the background is right here surrounding our video images.
Oh, we got someone here. It says, "Who?"
Why are you looking at?
None.
You looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat, and no.
Oh, the public chat.
Yeah, and the YouTube chat just crazy.
Is there any sign of a troll using an alias?
No, I'm not going to say a troll, but
because I have something to post in case it is a troll that likes to use aliases, like a certain entity that we know. I have something to post. right?
No, it might be a troll, but it's not the typical troll who comes in. But hi,
Hi, troll. All right, so let me see now. So was True TV forced by the government to remove Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory show? That was fucking best. Now,
I don't know if my mic picked that up, but there was a rumble of thunder.
yeah, I mean, if you see, hear thunder and see flashes of lightning, that's not good.
Well, I mean, I've got the curtain set back just a little bit, so if there is, I can see it here in this little corner down here.
Right, yeah, just let me know if it gets that bad. That because
I don't think it will, but just it's really coming down out there.
Something like
I mean, I don't think we're going to get any lightning, but I mean, man, it is really coming down out there.
all right, hold on. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Damien Owens. Look what we got here.
That's what I was telling you about.
This is the
Hi,
person-
troll.
the way is the way, the truth, and the light. Except post, baby, post. Really? You want me to post? You really want me to post? I'll post, and this is not the cereal either. I'll post, jabroni. I'm not going to say a word because Oh, I see it. It's separated in 3 parts. All right. That's StreamYard. It wouldn't let me put it all in one post, so that's okay. All right, we'll leave it there. All right. Do you have any questions that are not ridiculous? The person with the sunglasses that claims they are Satan for the divining rods. It can't be silly. It's got to be good. All right. But anyway,
I'm glad you were bringing this up because we were talking at work the other day, and here in Tennessee, a little town not too far from here called Jonesboro is one of the most haunted places here in Tennessee. And in fact, it's one of the most haunted places in the world.
wow.
So one of my coworkers and I, we were talking. She lives in a trailer park near a heavily wooded area. And they have seen this entity that looks like a human Sasquatch hybrid. And it only lives up in the woods. But from what they can tell, it sits at the edge of the tree line of the woods. It's about 8 or 9 feet tall. It has human-like hands, human-like feet, and it has these glowing, bright yellow eyes. And it doesn't move. It doesn't make any noises. It just stands there and stares.
Well, just in the United States, there are different varieties of Sasquatch. There are ones with blonde hair. There are the ones with real dark hair. There's the skunk ape Sasquatch in the, I guess we're in the Louisiana Bayou area swamp. They call it skunk ape because they have a stench. Really
well,
bad.
It acts very human-like because one day they saw it and they yelled out. They went, "Hey!" and it went back, "Hey!"
Oh, really?
So it heyed back to them. They were like, "Let's just get the hell on out of here." And apparently, it leaves the woods and comes onto other people's property. And they've seen it, but they were talking that one day they were just sitting in the house minding their own business, and it started beating on the side of the trailer.
Oh, shit.
And they could tell that it was that entity. Well, one day they decided to see if they can track it up in the woods, and they did not like what they saw, and they concluded this is not a Sasquatch, because they went up into the woods and they found a bunch of carcasses of a variety of different animals up in the woods with blood. It did not eat the animals. It literally just got a hold of them and shredded it and tore them apart. And it would mark its territory by putting different animal skulls in the trees. And it would mark the trees with blood. And it also would put like little burn marks into the trees. And the weirdest thing they saw was there was a charcoal circle in the ground. So they concluded that's not a Sasquatch. That's some kind of paranormal entity, possibly demonic.
Yeah. Now there are many Indian burial grounds and sacred Indian land in the United States that have been disrespected, desecrated, and then there are also battlegrounds involving indigenous people with the U.S. Army, or it could be Civil War battles. I mean, where many deaths have occurred, and this leaves residual energy behind. And there's a lot of hauntings. I mean, when I watched Ghost Adventures and the Dead Files, there are multitudes of hauntings. Well, I'm getting tired of this person who's saying ridiculous things. There you go. Goodbye. Until if it happens to be who I think it is, comes back with another alias. But at least whatever's in text, enough said.
Mm-hmm.
Enough for now.
So I did a little bit more digging as her and I were talking the other day, and the reason why Jonesboro is so haunted is there were Native Americans that used to live in that particular area, and there's a lot of people here in this area who have Native American blood in them because they intermingled and they had children who were mixed. So there was a huge Indian tribe that used to live in this part of Northeast Tennessee. I don't remember which tribe it was, but during the Revolutionary War, this part of the United States was not inhabited or conquered at this particular time. So how the town of Jonesboro got started, it's one of the oldest towns in Tennessee. Tennessee was one of the newer states established into the Union after we declared ourselves an independent country. We became a state in 1796. But when the settlers got up this way, they came from North Carolina. They crossed the highlands of the Appalachian Mountains and settled over here. Now, some of the other hauntings that are in this area, besides, the demonic Sasquatch,
right,
is they will see someone wearing like Revolutionary War attire, because there was a very bloody Revolutionary War battle over in this part of Tennessee, even though it was not established yet, from those who were leaving North Carolina to come settle over in this part. There were some Civil War battles that happened in this part as well. My original hometown of Marion, there was a Civil War battle in 1864, and it was a very one-sided victory. Like the Union, they came in and they took the town of Marion, no problem. Now, where my mom is from, Saltville, there were two battles of Saltville. The first one was in 1861 or 1862, and the Confederates won that battle. And the reason why they wanted to take the town of Saltville is it's notorious for the salt mines. And there are still salt mines under the town of Saltville today, but people are mining the salt underneath the town, and eventually the town is going to sink into a huge sinkhole. And in fact, it's sinking right now at a rate of about 1 to 2 feet a year. So probably within about 100 years, the town of Saltville is not going to be there anymore. But they wanted the town of Saltville for the salt to preserve the meat. So the Confederates won the first battle in 1861 or 62. Then they were able to push them to a little town known as Emory, Virginia. And what made Emory so famous is the Emory and Henry College in Emory. So there was a fort there, and the Confederates in 1860, I want to say 1865, 64, 65, somewhere in that area, they carried out a sabotage mission behind enemy lines and carried out a huge sabotage attack against Fort Emory. Well, the Confederates were able to take supplies from there, but the Union retaliated, and there was the Second Battle of Saltville, and the Union won no problem because they brought such a huge overbearing force to take the town as a result of the sabotage mission.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. There were some Civil War battles here, but this part of Tennessee really didn't get too involved in the Civil War. They wanted to kind of remain neutral, but due to inadvertently being a state of the Confederacy, this part of Tennessee got drug into the Civil War like Central and Western Tennessee wanted the rest of the state to do. And the Union controlled the western as well as central part of Tennessee, but they never made it over to this part. And there are some Confederate cemeteries around here, but not very many. But I've been to Jonesboro. It's not a bad little town, but I think we went there one year when I was in high school to go through a haunted corn maze.
Yeah, well, you know, a place is really haunted when people are physically attacked by entities where they have deep scratches. They feel burning on the back of their neck or their back.
Mhm.
They see and deep scratches. But when there's demonic activity or when it's really bad, words are scratched into the people. And that's just, you know, the beginning. Then you have things.
Ooh. Oh, ho. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
Ooh.
Things move physically when the haunting gets bad, when the hauntings get real bad. And this thunder is a nice sound, like Frankenstein's monster with the bolts in his neck for this show.
Yeah.
But if you well, of course, if you hear thunder, it's always followed by lightning somewheres, and not that far away. So you just let me know if things get a little, you know, like if
It's probably just a passing storm. Like sometimes we can get some passing storms here in December. It happens.
yeah, like if the lights blink
It's snowing
in
1 week.
the home, it's not.
Like here in Tennessee, you can experience all 4 seasons in one day. You can wake up, it'll be like 30-some degrees, wintertime. And then about mid-morning, it'll be, 40s, be like fall. Then around lunchtime, afternoon, it'd be like, 50s, 60s, 70s. So you get like spring, summer. And then in the night, temperatures drop again. So it's like, I just experienced all 4 seasons in one day.
You know what I saw? You know that was fascinating in Virginia. It's a brick towered building where they made musket balls.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was they let droplets of molten lead fall from a height.
Oh, yeah.
By the time it gets to the receptacle that it falls into, it formed balls.
Yeah.
Bing,
A
bing.
foundry, as it's called, or a blacksmith.
Yeah. But this building specifically manufactured musket balls during when it was a colony.
Mm-hmm. And let's see here. I'm trying to think. There is a foundry, or there used to be one here in the Tri-Cities area. It was called Rocky Mount. It was just right down the road from the Bristol Motor Speedway. And we went there on our 5th grade trip, and it was pretty fascinating. But getting back to what you were saying about some haunting places, where my wife's from in Virginia, the most notorious place that's extremely haunted is St. Albans Mental Hospital.
Well, the medical treatment in mental hospitals back then was torture, was cruelty.
Hmm.
You
Well,
know,
in the
electrical impulses
mhm.
going into
Well,
the brain.
in the lower part,
Current. I'm
there
sorry.
there is a demonic entity called Old Red Eyes, and he does not like women at all. So if any woman ever steps into his territory, she has to be accompanied because he will physically attack and hurt women.
Oh, like the infamous Mothman
Mhm.
has red eyes.
Yeah, but um, in real life, Old Red Eyes was someone who lived in the basement in the boiler room, and he was very sexist and bigoted, and his spirit just hung around. He stayed there.
Well, if he's got red eyes, there's a good chance that it's an evil entity. There are according to Amy Allen on the Dead Files, who's she's a I think called a physical medium because she can actually see the spiritual entities and communicate with them. And she said that there are demons and devils are different. There are different rank. Like devils are a higher rank and have more power than a demon. But if they have red eyes and you see, and they're black and shadowy, like a black mass,
Hmm.
yeah, usually that's a telltale sign. She also they'll knock 3 times to that means they're mocking the Trinity. You'll hear a
Hmm.
3 knocks, not a Tony Orlando and Dawn.
But yeah, that's
On the ceiling if you want me.
mhm.
No.
Well, that's what they concluded is they think they know who Old Red Eyes is, that he was an evil, sexist, bigoted man in real life, but his spirit just stuck around and it turned demonic.
Yeah, that yes, spirits that are made up of negative energy, they will like fester and ferment and metamorphosize into something monstrous or more evil than the original. They
Hmm.
like a poltergeist is not necessarily, it's not an evil spirit. It is negative energy coming from the thoughts of humans that have a gift and that create the poltergeist. They say in the old country they called it the evil eye. Like if you really hated somebody or someone did bad things to you and you concentrated long enough, the evil eye.
Oh, we got another troll. Hi.
Maybe he just had an eye infection. Actually, that's quite funny. Ice wallow cum. You sure it's not like sure it's not cum? Ice wallow cum.
He probably had to get around the thing on Google because if it's spelled like that, he could get around it.
Ice wallow. That's cold cum, right? I don't think Ron Jeremy would approve of that. Ron D. Jeremy rum, made in Costa Rica, by the way. I'm not trying to plug his rum, by. I know. Ronald J. Terrio refuses to try his rum because he's a porn star. Okay, I swallow. You're a funny guy, not a fun guy like me. I love mushrooms. I'm a fun guy. You think you're that was innocent enough. But anyway, an eye infection. Yeah, 2 eyes. How could a spirit have an infection?
Physics? Logic? I don't know.
I'm talking to cum here. I swallow. Oh man. So anyway, now as far as Ron Jeremy on ice, I never had his rum before. It's called Ron D. Jeremy. He probably has nothing to do with the manufacturing of it. He probably has child labor making it. It wouldn't surprise me. Like Kathy Lee Gifford had her clothes made by child labor in Central America And then when they caught her, she started crying crocodile tears. I didn't know. I had no idea. You know, she started doing that. You're talking about the spirit? Yeah, like Towley. You know Towley from South Park?
Oh, Towley.
Get high. Hey, you want to get high? So, so anyway, certain stones, crystals, are good for warding off negative energy, like black obsidian, which is volcanic glass, which was used by Aztecs and Mayans to manufacture weapons, spears, arrowheads, whatever, and other tools. Then there's black obsidian, then there's black tourmaline, and selenite is used to energize all crystals that are next to it. Selenite is a prehistoric salt crystal that there's actually very large selenite mines in Utah underground that Native Americans used selenite too for mystical purposes. Weed is very medicinal. I am 100% for cannabis. You
I
know,
am too.
actually, Eric Faunfelter has a friend from New England named Mark, who is a big cannabis advocate, and he took out his fancy bong and started smoking weed in his bong because it's supposedly recreational marijuana smoking is legal in Massachusetts. So I invited him to come on a show, and we'll talk about how the right wing zealots that probably not probably they most likely did create that ridiculous, stupid, insane law called prohibition. These are
They did.
This is the same mentality that's trying to fight the legalization of marijuana on a federal level. Okay, hold on. Crystals for protection. You want to smoke it? You could smoke anything, man. Now you're getting silly.
He's probably high.
Yeah. Oh, do you have any questions for the copper divining rods? Or do you have a personal issue in your life that you're serious about and you want a tarot card answer? But you can't be ridiculous like you're being now. You have an issue, Mr. Cum, for the divining rods? Any questions pertaining to work or your love life or family, perhaps? You know, while you're here, you might as well make good use of it. Hold on. William Randolph Hearst started Prohibition.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Sounds about right. All right. Now you're being smart. All right. Yeah. Well, it's it's like when an adult store opens up in my area. It never opens up next to a residential area, but there's always they're always the same people that protest. You got these older women with curlers in their hair that that have nothing better to do, and they protest to have the adult store closed down. Well, these are most likely the people that protested that their husbands were not coming home at night and they were going to bars, and then they probably. All right, pick the issue that bothers you the most, and I will ask the divining rods. Go ahead. Wait a minute. Pick something. Pick the worst. But it has to be a yes or no question because the rods don't talk. They move. Going once. Going twice. All right. You don't want to mention anything? Okay. So yeah, these are the crystals that are now salt. Now even not just Christianity, but other religions have mentioned it also. If you throw salt in the corner of every room of your house or apartment, it will also help drive out bad negative entities, because evil spirits like to hide in corners. Also, burning of sage, especially white sage, is also very good. Sandalwood. I have sandalwood incense sticks. I have white sage, and I have frankincense and myrrh, which I. Oh, all right. Ice Wallow come wants to know if the FBI is watching him. Yes.
Who are
Somebody's
they not watching?
watching me. The song from the 80s. Remember that? I really think that somebody's watching me. Yeah, who are they not watching? For all we know, when you buy a smart TV, we're being watched. Telephone poles, security cameras. They have the federal agents have an artificial rock. It looks like a rock, but it's not. There's an electronic device inside that can hack into your. Hey, Greg Swenson, a big craft beer and perhaps fermented beverage, hard liquor enthusiast. How are you this evening? Happy 2020 when it comes, Mr. Greg Swenson. He's for real. Mr. Greg Swenson, are you curious about anything in your life that you would like to ask the copper divining rods? Little dowsing. Hold on for a second. Because, or if Ice Wallow has another question, but be more specific. I always feel like somebody's watching me. No, it wasn't Michael Jackson that sung that. No, it was it was a white dude. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Just look it up on YouTube.
Well, I mean, I guess to his defense, Michael Jackson did eventually become white, so.
Well, I like the South Park episode when they determined by communicating with Michael Jackson's hologram, the hologram version of his spirit, that what Michael Jackson always wanted to be was a little white girl. And that's why Michael Jackson couldn't move on to the other side, because they had to get the spirit, had to take over Ike, the little Canadian adopted boy of Kyle.
Kyle, yeah.
Kyle's stepbrother. Yeah, and they entered Michael Jackson in Kyle, not in Ike, into a beauty pageant for little girls. Like remember that stupid reality show when these stage mothers used to force their little girls to put on all that makeup and.
Yep.
And
I remember.
What was that girl that got killed? John Benet Ramsey or something? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Anyway. Yeah. So are these parents that scream at the little league coach, man, whatever, that their kid is not treated like number one, and the women that force their little girls into beauty pageants, are they failures in life and are trying to vicariously live through their children? Do they deserve to be bitch slapped for hours on end? Okay. Anyone out there that have any personal questions for either Damien Owens or myself for the New Year's show? Because I sent a link. You know, he did Eric did was Saturday night? No, what, Friday night. I'm sorry. Saturday night I was out. Friday night he sent me a Hangouts link to do a private video chat, and he was drinking Glenlivet 15-year single malt Scotch, and he was drinking beers, and he was getting pretty drunk. And another time he was playing his electric guitar. I says, "Why are you wasting all that talent? You play great. Why don't you save it for the show?" I sent him a link to come on live, and he don't come on. This is like the third time he didn't come on. But he does, but privately, he plays the guitar, he does this, he does that. He drinks Glenlivet. I just don't understand people. I see, I could never be a psychologist. I know they get paid a lot of money, but I would probably want to put a pillow over their face and smother them, my face. I don't understand people. Even the people, like the people in church. It's like, you know, the guy was discriminating against my djembe drum, is what he was doing. He was, because it's an ancient instrument made of mahogany and goatskin, he was being pretentious about my drum. He wanted me to do this. First he says, "You're hitting it too hard. Hit it lighter." I go, "All right. No, it's too loud. Hit it lighter. Just use your fingertips." I says, "I might as well not even be here with the drum. I might as well be in bed sleeping instead of dragging my ass here in the morning." I says, "If I got to go like this." Now, today he tells me, "Oh, no, don't give me no Caribbean sound. Just go 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 with every song." I go, "Wait a minute. You want me to just go boom, 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 boom? That's boring. There's no pizzazz in going boom, boom, boom." Now, if you're talking about the song "Boom, Boom, Boom, Let's Go Back to My Room so we can do it all night and make it feel right." That's it. Is my house haunted? Ice Wallow come. Don't be silly now. Is Ice Wallow come's house haunted, Divining Rods? Is Ice Wallow come being ridiculous because he is smoking weed right now? All right. He's innocent. He's all right. No, your house is you know what you're seeing? The spirits you're seeing is the smoke in your eyes. So, is there anyone out there? We have 3 million viewers. I mean 3. We anyone out there have any questions for the tarot cards or the divining rods or about conspiracy theories? Was anyone out there a Jesse Ventura conspiracy theory fan? Or anyone would like to talk about how the government keeps secrets from us, or the oligarchy, or in my estimation, the way I feel is I trust big government much more than I trust any corporate CEO. You want to talk about that? Or the fact that finally the mainstream media is starting to acknowledge that Bernie Sanders' campaign is skyrocketing ahead of the centrist, corporatist, corporate whore Democrats or Dummycrats. Is this true, Divining Rods, that they are finally acknowledging that Bernie Sanders' progressive movement is gaining power? Is the annoying nasal twang Amy Klobuchar and the ventriloquist dummy Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren, are they all wolves in sheep's clothing pretending that they care about the people? Are they corporate whores? Are they corporate whores? Is Pete Buttigieg, would he take it up the ass from the most wealthy corporate CEOs that contribute to his campaign? Now, Pete Buttigieg is famous for his wine cave, where all his top donors show up. The wine cave is very snobby, very exclusive.
Yes, yummy.
The wine cave is Pete Buttigieg. He's pretty much a bought and sold, scrawny little person, right? Who hasn't done much, being mayor of South Bend, Indiana, I think. Yeah, I heard that an African American woman in Indiana approached him with a desperate issue, and she, he kind of blew her off, I think, and then she said, well, I'm not going to support you in your campaign because of his attitude. And he said, well, I don't need you to support me. So which I thought was pretty arrogant. He also he doesn't answer certain questions from the media, like certain probing questions. You know what's funny? Copper divining rods. Do you think it's funny when Joe Biden gets upset, he challenges people to do push-ups? He did that during the Democratic, the last debate.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I got one for the copper divining rods. Okay. So, copper divining rods. Will Donald Trump be impeached and removed from office?
Really? Is Mitch McConnell one of the worst conservative corporate whores ever? And he is an ugly, turtle-faced old geezer. Now,
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Now, he, you know what kills me? Divining rods. Is it true that Republicans have a tendency of saying what Mitch McConnell always says? The American people are not going to stand for that. The American people don't support this. Are they full of shit when they say that? Yeah, because they think. Do they think that? Are they telling a lie to the media about that most Americans are conservative like them? Yeah, because if the more the more the 98% vote, the less of a chance Republicans get elected. Is this true?
All right, well, I got one. So, if he is impeached and removed from office, will he ever hold the presidency again? He will?
President of what? Of a company? What about president of the United States? Maybe after the Great Tribulation. Oh no, not the United.
Okay, so let's see here. When will he be removed from office? 2020?
Okay.
So he will be impeached and removed before he can go for a second term. So he will be the only sitting president that will actually be impeached and removed for the first time in our history.
Will Donald Trump resign, or will he be forced out? Well, no. Will Donald Trump resign from office? No, because he's so arrogant and narcissistic and egomaniacal. So in other words, he will have to be forced out kicking and screaming, right? Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, well, let's say about this. Will Mike Pence take his place?
Oh, that evangelical nut.
Oh, hell.
Now, Pence makes no sense when he talks about religion and right to life and all this crap, anti-Planned Parenthood. Oh, Danny Knox is back. Hold on for a second. I know why. I know why people vote Republican. I'll tell you in a second. Danny Knox says people support Donald Trump to win this election. People to win. Well, who? I don't want to see a Republican win.
Yes, he still has a base, but he is screwing people over and pissing his base off left and right to the point to where he's not going to have a base anymore.
Now, yeah, Bernie Sanders has been in red state territory, talking to people that voted for Donald Trump, and they have admitted that their life and their standard of living has gotten worse. It has not improved when they reelect like the idiots that live in shacks in what is that, Wolf County, Kentucky, that reelected Mitch McConnell. You're living in shacks, and the reason why these poor folk in these states, maybe rural, maybe not. The reason why I think they vote Republican is because their religious zealot cult is so fanatical about pro-choice. Is that the reason why?
I mean, pro-life.
Well, they're against pro-choice. I mean, they're for pro-life, correct? Well, naturally, they're voting Republican.
All right. Well, here's an interesting question that I would ask in Divining Rods. So let's see what they say about how Donald Trump won. Did Donald Trump win because he had made himself appear as the lesser of two evils? All right. And was he elected because, people were so disenfranchised by Obama that they decided to go with him, and that's the only reason why they went with him, not just because they like him?
Yeah. Now, Hillary Clinton, what did the missing emails do the most damage to Hillary Clinton's campaign? The most damage, okay. But so going from Donald Trump to Hillary Clinton or back again is like going from the frying pan into the furnace, pretty much. So the slightly lesser of two evils.
Hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
All right, well, here's one that's interesting. Now, this is a serious question, but it's meant to have funny connotations. So this is not just me being silly. This is me actually being funny,
Sarcastic.
but still being serious at the same time.
Okay.
So, Divining Rods, would it be a very funny idea to impeach and try Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and put them both in the same cell and say, may the best man win? Would that be a seriously funny idea?
Is it now, Divining Rods? Do you agree that no one, no matter how wealthy they are or politically important, is above the law? You agree with that? Well, naturally, yeah. So the Republicans that are against impeachment, are they just sticking to their conservative agenda because they're being paid off by the old fat cats? Yeah. Now, the mainstream media like CNN and that Rachel Maddow, who annoys the crap out of me, are they centrist pretty much, or are they okay? Are they centrists? Okay. Are they centrist because they're afraid of telling the truth in fear of getting fired? Yeah, that's why I love the underground media, even though, oh, is it a violation of our First Amendment rights that all these social media companies have their own form of community standards, and these community standards are just an excuse for them to censor people? Yes. Is Mark Zuckerberg a hawk-nosed pile of fecal matter in reality? And when I want to give him an old-fashioned nose job with my pipe wrench, do you agree that you would love to witness that?
All right. Well, here's one that I'm curious about. So,
Oh.
what would be the final nail in Donald Trump's coffin? Okay, well, the Republicans, yes, they do have a majority in the Senate, but their majority is slim. Just like, yes, the Democrats have a majority in the House, but their majority is slim. So even though Republicans are not wanting to impeach Trump, will there be some Republicans that will jump ship and ultimately turn the tide in this impeachment proceeding?
Well, he's definitely an embarrassment to the party. I mean, he's not the brightest bulb on a Christmas tree. But and
So I'm curious. I'm curious how many Republicans will jump ship. Will it be 5 Republicans?
now the Republicans the Democrats need 61 votes to break a filibuster in the Senate.
60-40. So
40.
okay, well, let's see. I think the Senate right now is divided up. I know they've got over like 50 some senators, but like I said, the Republican majority is not that super of a majority. So, okay, well, if it's 5 Republicans, will there be 10 Republicans to jump ship to turn the tide in this impeachment?
That many?
Okay, now this will be another one. 15 Republican senators to guarantee that there is a supermajority. Okay, so about 10, but not 15. Okay, so that would be just enough to get a supermajority for trying and convicting him.
Okay. Now,
so what they're saying is there would be just enough. He would get tried and impeached and removed by this much of a majority. Like, it will be this close.
Now, the next coming election will a third party or an independent progressive movement continue to increase in momentum and power? Yeah, because people are pissed off. Is this because Americans are just getting pissed off and they feel like they're at the end of their rope and they're desperate and they're deep in debt and everything else? So the overall quality of life and their standard of living is getting worse, and they're getting angry. Yes. Well, it's the 98%, of course, because top 2%, they don't have to worry about health care because they can afford the best health insurance. They can pay out of pocket for every damn thing. So the top 2%, if it's not their problem, they don't care. Is that basically the truth? Yeah, because they're selfish bastards. It's typical of rich people that grew up with money, correct? Or okay. All right. Yeah, so would Damien Owens make an outstanding socialist congressperson from his state? Yes.
What else?
With Damien Owens going to become a very popular or perhaps famous tarot card reader? Is Damien Owens going to build a huge following from all of this? Is Damien Owens going to build the following with his video games? Yes.
I mean, yeah, I've got my gaming channel up. I've revamped it, so. And I will tell you right now, I had to make just one little edit to one of my videos, and I tried using the built-in YouTube video editor. God bless, that thing is a piece of shit.
Oh, of course. Even if you go live on YouTube, it's crap. It's all blurry and pixelated.
Like I just had to cut like maybe, let's see here, like maybe 30 seconds of a 38-minute video. So I was doing a mission playthrough on a very hard difficulty, and it just kept saying edit processing, edit processing, edit processing. And I just said, you know what, fuck this shit.
You know what?
And I deleted it.
You know it's a great video editing program and it's free?
What?
OpenShot.
Open what?
OpenShot. It's popular on Linux, but they have a Windows version.
Well, I found on here, if you have Windows 10 on your computer, you actually have free video editing software.
I do.
I did not realize that.
It's called Movie Maker.
Actually, not on Windows 10. They changed Movie Maker to where now, if you type in the type in search down here in the lower left-hand corner, if you type in video, okay, let's see here. If you just type in video, it will bring up a best match of two things. It will bring up video editor and voice recorder. Now, the video editor is linked into like the Photos app that you have with Windows, but if you just want to do like basic editing, you know, maybe doing a little trimming, splicing, you know, just doing a little bit of this and that, it's really good, but don't expect to do anything like super advanced with it.
It's not. I've seen more advanced video editing than Movie Maker, but Movie Maker is reliable and it works, and I never encountered a glitch. I was even able to put together sound, audio, a wave or an MP3. Now I have WavePad, which when you download on WavePad, you get a trial of the professional version, and then when the trial ends, they give you the free version. And of course they nag you a little bit, and then you just don't do anything, and you have the free version. Well, the free version works, and they ask you, are you going to use this for business purposes or for personal? And you bullshit, you lie, you say personal, and it's very good, as far as audio goes.
Well, for me, I don't really need a lot of sophistication because. If you've seen the videos that I showed you of where I'm doing the Halo Reach playthrough, since now it's on PC, and I gotta say, they've done a phenomenal job with this. But my graphics card, since it's an NVIDIA graphics card and not an AMD graphics card, it's got a built-in video recording software called NVIDIA Shadowplay. And it does not cause any performance issues while you're playing the game because it's just running in the background, so it doesn't rely on any graphics capacity. It just relies simply on a little bit of processing and a little bit of RAM power just to have it in the background. But it records directly from the input of the graphics card to what's happening on your screen. That's why the audio is so. That's why the audio and the video are so clear, and why I'm able to do it directly in 4K and not having to do like a setup with a capture card and do this and do that. It's directly from the graphics card, and it just shows what's happening on the screen and just recording what's happening right there on the screen. Now, there is a way to where I could like plug in my mic and do commentary, but if I'm doing playthroughs, I'm not, looking to do commentary. I'll probably do a series of commentary videos later on, but just for a playthrough, nah, I'm not going to do that, because you can go a little bit more and say like, okay, you can disable your mic, you can do push to talk, set up with a button, or you can just have your mic on all the time. But I love it because it's simple, it's straightforward, and it saves all your videos in the video file, but it also breaks down by game which video folder it's going to be in, because like all my Halo videos are in one file, the Halo Master Chief Collection. And with the NVIDIA graphics card, it's able to do certain things with games through the graphics card driver. So that way it's able to optimize performance of certain games. And that's why it's able to do so much, and why I'm going to stick with NVIDIA and not go with anything AMD.
Oh, okay. No, I'm always very impressed. Whatever you sent me privately, and I'm sure you're going to have one hell of a playlist of your of those games, the Halo games, and even and more advanced software to come.
Well, I mean, I do have a variety of different games. I've got some old videos here in my Left 4 Dead 2 folder, where I recorded videos of me and my wife and my best friend just playing games and just doing a bunch of shenanigans and bullshittery, to where I'm going to take the videos, splice them up, and do like the best of Left 4 Dead bullshittery part 1, part 2, part 3. I mean, there are some pretty funny instances of these videos. I'll do something, then my friend does something, then my wife will do something. Yeah, we'll get pissed, but we'll end up just having a big laugh at the same time.
Yeah, and if you have enough of them, you can have playlists. I told Jay Tyria, you've been doing so many Doorbusters, you might as well put them in a playlist and then create the best of Doorbusters. Nobody else really does what you do, drinking whiskey at 5:30 a.m. and reviewing them. I says, you got so many under your belt. He says, that's a good idea. All right.
Yeah, if I'm drinking whiskey at like that time of night, it's usually because, one, I'm still wide awake and I still want to keep the buzz or being drunk going. I wouldn't purposely wake up at like 5 in the morning to drink whiskey.
Oh, no. He wakes up at 2:30 a.m. He's retired. Don't ask me why he wakes up at 2:30 a.m., but
Me either.
2:30, and then he does the show at 5:30 a.m. But if you have whiskey at that time, you might as well put a few raw eggs in it. And because the whiskey's going to kill, if there's any salmonella or whatever, it's going to kill it. The alcohol, you might as well just drink your breakfast as an instant breakfast. Right?
Mm-hmm. But then if he does Dawn Busters at like 5:30, yeah, he'll do maybe a Dawn Busters whiskey, but then he'll turn around and have like a breakfast stout, like a high % breakfast stout.
Oh, he does that too for Dawn Busters?
Well, not necessarily, because like there was one video where he did Lagunitas Russian Imperial Stout,
right?
And he did it with breakfast, and it was like 5:50 something in the morning. I think it was before he started Dawn Busters, but I'm just like, really? You'd have a beer with your breakfast at like 6 in the morning.
Did you see what Eric gave me, and I posted it on Everything Is Food about
What's that?
the vodka made in the Chernobyl area of the Ukraine, and but they're sitting in a warehouse. They haven't been sold yet.
I don't know if I'd want to try that.
I wouldn't try it.
Because who knows what would happen to your body if you took just one shot of that.
An eye will be growing at it, like on The Simpsons, that episode. Yeah, an eye will be growing from your forehead.
I mean, I would kind of want to visit Chernobyl. I mean, it is safe to go there and visit, but there are some places there you just do not go, and where they have the highest levels of radiation, they're marked so that way you don't unintentionally radiate yourself.
The last movie, think it was in New Mexico. The last movie that John Wayne did before he came down with the terminal cancer. But then again, he smoked, I hear too. He did a movie in an area where they weren't supposed to film there. There were atomic testing. It was I think it was New Mexico. And it was back in the days when they did atomic bomb testing in New Mexico. And the government did not tell the movie producer that you really should not bring actors and actresses to this region. It's not safe. And they filmed there, and it was highly radioactive at the time. So speaking of New Mexico, divining rods, was the Roswell, New Mexico crash only a weather balloon? All right. So were there really live aliens taken into custody and hidden by the government? Yes. Was there reverse engineering from materials found in alien crashes? Yes. Was this reverse engineering also done by the Soviets with crashes in Siberia, and with Nazi Germany with the crash found in Bavaria? Yes. Reverse engineering divining rods brought us rapidly to where we are today in technology. Yes. When I first got these, they didn't exactly like whip and bop me on the nose. They moved a lot slower. So I guess.
So here's something I'm curious. So we know of aliens existing, that aliens do exist, but do they want to have any contact with us?
They do.
Okay, but why? Why would they want to have contact with us as a species? I mean, we're very inferior and extremely warmongering that really, in all honesty, what species would want to have anything to do with us? What advanced civilization would want anything to do with us?
I wouldn't want to mess with scumbag humans if I was them. Do they want to help us? They feel sorry out of pity? Yes. I pity.
Okay, but when will they? So let's see. Will it be in the next 5 years? 10 years? All right, 20 years. Then the next 20 years. So at the latest, 2039? Well, if it's 20 years, okay, 2040. So that means it would be 2040. All right, will they just make themselves known, or what will happen?
Will they make themselves known to everyone? Oh, so they're just gonna they're just gonna land and say, "Greetings, Earthlings."
Is that what you're saying?
Take me to your corrupt leader. So no, that's what they used to do in the low budget horror movies back in the day. So they used to say that. So anyway, do they want to help save our species and our planet? Yeah, but they should have disdain for us. So they have compassion for this miserable lot we call humans. Really?
All right, well, here's another interesting one. Are they among us?
Are Are aliens extraterrestrials among us now? Yes. Oh, what about these reptilians they say that live underground? Are they an alien species living secretly here? No. Are they native to the planet Earth? These reptilian beings? No.
Yeah, in Halo, whenever I sent you that video of the Halo series, it talks about, humans have existed for a long, long time, but we were an advanced civilization from a far distant planet,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a war with the Forerunners, and we were stripped of our empire and our technology, and were banished to Earth. That's
Yeah.
according to the Halo series.
Well, there's a science. There are scientists that have theorized that the different races were from different planets, which makes sense. Well, maybe that's why on Star Trek all the aliens were different forms of humanoids.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't like the Greys and different varieties that that didn't look too much like us. They actually look quite like us, but different variations. Now the Greys, it seems like they have evolved mentally so much that they, because of evolution, they lost their unnecessary body parts. Like we have our mouth and jaw and the teeth and everything, where they don't have that. So, and they have big heads and very skinny, frail bodies. So it's all intellect and maybe they have telekinesis abilities, to move objects around mentally. Is this how the gray aliens? Is this what they're about? Divining rods, that they have evolved into pure intellect, ability, and everything else atrophied? All right.
So let's see here. Okay, so it's obviously do exist, but is there a way to contact them?
Yes. Did Nikola Tesla? Was Nikola Tesla contacted in his dreams by extraterrestrials to teach him what he professed to know? Yes. Okay. What about the sleeping prophet Edgar Casey? Was the information given to him from extraterrestrials? Through psychic powers? Through psychic powers? Now, a friend of mine who is one of those born again evangelical religious fanatics, he thinks that demons give psychics their information. Is this true? No. Are these born again evangelicals a bunch of nuts that belong in a padded room? Yes.
All right, well, let's see here. So which extraterrestrial race has the most interest in us? Let's go through the name. All right, how about so the Greys have different subspecies. So how about the Gray Zetas? Okay.
Where it's the Gray Zetas?
They're a subspecies of the Greys.
Yeah.
Okay, so no. Okay, how about the Gray Alphas?
The Gray Alphas? Do they have the most interest in us?
All right, how about the gray betas?
No.
All right, how about the Pleiadians, however you pronounce it?
No.
Oh, I can understand why, because we're not highly intellectual and compassionate. So that could probably make another reason why. All right, how about the Nordic type beings from Ceres?
Yes.
All right.
Are the fact that Sasquatches have a tendency to suddenly vanish? Are they extraterrestrials? Sasquatch? Maybe that's why they
All right, well, here's one you've probably heard of. If you know Eric von Donigan as well as Zachariah Sitchin, how about the Anunnaki?
Yes, from Sumerian. Yes, so from Sumeria. Yeah, the Anunnaki, are they the sky gods? Are they also the Hopi Indians have sky people too? Now, the Hopi Indian sky people, are they very similar to the Anunnaki? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've read Eric von Donigan's book and Zachariah Sitchin's, and I've seen the Ancient Aliens, and I gotta say, out of all of the extraterrestrial mythology, that is probably the most believable out of all of them.
Chariots of the Gods was von Donigan's book. His first.
Yeah, and then Zachariah Sitchin was the 12th planet, Nibiru.
Now, what's incredible now, and are some of the alien species that visit us from Andromeda galaxy? That's a quick yes.
Andromeda galaxy, how far is it away?
Well, it's the next galaxy over, but it's bigger. It's bigger than the Milky Way.
Like how much bigger?
I have to Google it, but they did say on the Science Channel it was larger. Are there any alien worlds that we cannot see that are in the outer section of the Milky Way galaxy? Yeah, because there's some uncharted. I guess you would call it the outskirts of the Milky Way.
All right. Well, here's a good one for the Divining Rods. Is Nibiru a real planet, or is it fictional?
It's a real planet.
Okay. Is it beyond Pluto? It's not beyond Pluto?
Wait a minute. Wait, say what's the name of it?
Okay. Nibiru. Is Nibiru beyond the planet Pluto?
Is Nibiru, yeah, beyond Pluto? Is it farther than Pluto from the Earth? Oh,
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it within our
machine gun questions because it gets,
All right. Well, yeah. Is it within our particular solar system? Okay, so it's not within our solar system. Okay, so does it have any relation to any of our planets? All right.
So it has a climate similar to Earth, like the Goldilocks zone that they like to call. Oh, it doesn't. It's not similar.
Okay. Yeah, I think another reason why, because according to the Anunnaki mythology, that they're from the planet called Nibiru, and it is within our particular galaxy, and supposedly it does orbit around our sun, but it has a very weird orbit, and it comes around to this part of the solar system every 3,500 years as a result of its orbit. Like, you know how we have a very circular orbit around the sun? Well, this one is more like oblong oval. Like, it goes way out beyond Pluto, then it comes really close to the sun, and then goes way back out again. Apparently, that's how it orbits. But they came to Earth quite a few hundred thousands of years ago after the dinosaurs, and they were searching the galaxy for a precious metal known as gold. And the reason why they needed gold was of its alchemistic characteristics to repair their atmosphere. So,
amazing.
So when they decided to dig for gold, they realized that it was going to be a very monumental task, and they didn't want to do this task themselves. So they worked with what species they could here on Earth. Well, at this point, according to mythology, no modern humans existed at this time. So they took primates and infused their DNA with primate DNA and made modern day humans. And then we mined the gold for them, and then they left, but they did leave us technology to build civilization.
I have listened to that theory more than once. That you are absolutely correct about that, about what you just said, that story. Yeah, that is a strong theory that the modern day humans were an experiment, were a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
That were deliberately created, like the island of Dr. Moreau, deliberately created,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, between primates and humans. Because no primates are leaving the jungle standing upright today.
Mm-hmm.
So forget about Darwin's theory that, well, the primates.
Well, evolution does exist, but to kind of further evolution and to kind of explain the gaps as to why, there's gaps in between certain species. Well, not every evolution is linear, as in it's a straightforward path. Well, as what became modern day humans were Homo sapiens. Well, there were other human beings at the time. There was the Mongoloids, there were the Neanderthals, but we were the dominant as well as the most intelligent out of all the human species. That's why we are the dominant, and why every race of human being is a Homo sapien. Now, the other races, the Anunnaki apparently tried to genetically engineer, but were completely unsuccessful. Now, according to the mythology, I think it was Anu's wife, Ishtar, as she is also known as.
Yeah.
She was the scientist that conducted these experiments to see what new species could be created out of what they could work with on Earth and infuse it with their DNA. And this place was known as the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was a real place, but not in the biblical sense. See, the Bible took science and completely ruined it and turned it into something that bear no relation to. So yes, the Garden of Eden was real. That's where they conducted the first human experiments. But to give it a pro-Christian slant, they put in there the snake, and that the snake tempted Eve, and that she was punished for doing what she had done, to eat the forbidden fruit. But if you think about it, that kind of defies logic, because, like I said, they want to give it a pro-Christian slant. So they took modern day man as a species, but every human that they created, they had to create in a lab. Humans could not procreate themselves. So what Ishtar had to do was go back to the drawing board and give modern day humans the ability to procreate. So they can continue to have their worker race, not to punish someone because they want to find out knowledge and information. That's just a pro-Christian bullshit slant on the story.
Right. Yeah, like they talk about like somebody like that born again conservative was trying to debate with me about the Big Bang Theory. I said, I don't know. It's sometimes shit just happens, when it comes to science. You know, you can't prove, like, people can't prove that their God exists, and we can't prove. We can prove science when theories become fact, of course.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But, you know,
here's an excellent way you can debate someone like that when they say it's just a theory. Yes, a theory is when you have no evidence, but that does not necessarily mean that a theory is right or wrong. It's just, as the word states, a theory. A way a theory is proved is by, gathering evidence to prove if it is right or wrong. So to just outright say a theory is correct or incorrect when it's just in a theory phase is really a logical fallacy.
mhm.
Because, as I said, as long as you have no evidence, it is just a theory. It's a hypothesis. And the way you either prove or disprove said theory is by conducting the scientific method, studying it, analyzing it, where it's correct, where it's incorrect, what needs to be made correct in order to make the theory correct.
Mhm.
That's how that works. And I love it when, as you like call them, the religious zealots and the religious fanatics say, oh, there's a flaw in science, therefore religion is right, and therefore religion proves science wrong. Wrong.
It doesn't prove, never prove science wrong.
You know what proves science wrong? Science proves science wrong.
Yeah.
And in fact, science proves science wrong every single day. There's a new theory, a new breakthrough that, shows that the old theory was incorrect.
Yeah. Like look at something as simple as the accuracy of maps going from the Renaissance period up till now. Now we have satellite accuracy to perfection. It could be anything, astronomy. Yeah, science is always disproving science and replacing facts with new facts, and new theories becoming new facts again, and evolving, for continuously evolving. And but religion is based on faith, which is hope. It's based on something you can't see. Now, for those that are theologians, the Old Testament, where angels and God and Satan and all that, they used to appear to mortal humans and they used to interact with them in the Old Testament. But we don't have that now. So, like, let's say when the Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses bother you early in the morning and ring your doorbell, of course I never answer it. Or you could answer.
Well, they don't bother us because we have a no soliciting sign on our front door.
Well, if you answer the door naked, that's a good way to get rid of them. But they organized religion is based on man-made laws that people make up. They're just like with the Mormons. Who's that guy that claimed Jesus came to him and spoke? John Smith or something?
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith in somewhere in New York State, I think. Now I had an argument with a friend because he got suckered in to being a part of a Mormon congregation, a Mormon church, and of course they're trying to convert him. I says, how could you believe a mere mortal human by coming up with an incredible story like that? Joseph Smith says, the angel Moroni. Yeah, it wasn't Jesus. I'm sorry. The angel Moroni came to him and taught him everything, and then he started the Mormon church. Well, how do you know this? That Boney Moroni came to Joseph Smith. I could say anything. I can make up a story that's incredible too, and said that this entity came to me and has been teaching me things. So what does that mean? That people have to be suckers and believe me? And start like Marshall Applewhite of Heaven's Gate. That was hilarious. Cult. I'm talking about cults, there's a sucker born every minute, P.T. Barnum said.
Yeah, sounds about right. I don't know any Mormons. No, I take it back. I know only one Mormon, Mitt Romney.
Yes, he is a Mormon, and there were two. When my mother was alive, there were two very attractive early 20s Mormon girls that my mother let in the house, and it was too late. They were already in the house, so I was like questioning them. You know, I said, I'll be honest with you, it's unproven. It's all unproven, and especially when you have man-made laws coming from an organized religious organization. So these are other hearsay without facts, unfactually based. So then my mother says, "Oh yeah. One of the girls called and says, tell James I said hi. I should have made a move, but I'm not going to convert. I'm not going to convert. No. Convert to what? Where am I, you know?" It's like I was telling you before. I mean, I can make up stories. You can make up an incredible story too.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I can.
yeah, like you could create a pagan god on Halo or on one of your programs and get suckers to send you money.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because the Covenant, the advanced alien race that you were fighting in the Halo games, they worship the Forerunners as gods, and they want to get a hold of their technology. See, they knew the Forerunners are not like gods in what we would consider in modern day religious sense. They were a super advanced species that eventually kind of destroyed themselves, according to what the series indicates. But they left a lot of artifacts and technology, and the humans do not want to have this technology, but the Covenant do. So yeah, there is some religious fanaticism to the Halo games, and the one that I'm playing right now, Halo Reach, because check this out. The Halo games have been out for quite a number of years now. They were made popular by the first Halo, which came out on the first Xbox in the year 2001. And ever since then, it's got a huge cult following among gamers. And a few years back, they decided to come out with the Master Chief Collection, where it has the first Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, and then Halo 4. Well, when it was released on the Xbox One, which is the most recent Xbox, all the games are ready to go. So a lot of gamers wanted PC versions or computer versions of the game. Well, they delivered, and yes, there will be versions of these games coming to PC, but there is a Master Chief Collection available for $40. And the advertisement is a little deceiving. It makes it appear as though that all the games are ready to go right now. Well, I get it. I go in, I'm like, wait, here's Halo Reach, the prequel that was released earlier this decade, which takes place for the other Halo games. And I see there's the other Halo games in here, but it's not letting me select them. So come to find out, I read an article. All the games are going to be released throughout 2020. So you pay $40 to get access to the games as soon as they come out, so you don't have to pay for it. It's a one-time charge, but here's how the timeline's supposed to go. Reach is out right now, and I'll give a little bit of a background story about Reach. Then the first Halo is going to come out in a few months, and then Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, and then Halo 4. And then Halo 4 is going to be the last one to be released about this time next year. So I like Reach. It's an excellent game, and whenever it came out, it became an instant fan favorite because of its storyline. And Reach takes place before all the other Halo games. It's a prequel to the main series. So it takes place on a planet called Reach, and it's an outer human colony planet. And the Covenant and the Flood are taking over this planet. I know how the game is going to end, and I cannot wait for that last mission to do the epic playthrough of the final mission. Because they all die, and they're able to send a ship off of the planet into space, and then they do a jump through space, and that's where the first Halo game takes off. So I can't wait to play through the storyline. I mean, the gameplay is excellent, and the storyline is excellent. But I just found that so weird that, you'd pay $40 to only play one game for right now, and then you play the rest of the games throughout the year. And I can kind of understand why they've done it now after playing Reach for a little bit. I mean, it's an excellent game, don't get me wrong, but it has some huge, huge problems. Like, example, the movements on a keyboard for playing a game on computer, W is forward, S is backwards, A is to move left, and D is for right. Okay, movement is correct. Spacebar is for jumping, shift, when you hold W and shift, that's how you sprint. That's not where the problem lies. There's input drops from the mouse to what's supposed to happen in the game. So if you just right-click, every other 4 or 5 right clicks, nothing happens. It acts like it's getting ready to do something, and it just drops. And then other times you go to right-click it to shoot, and nothing happens. So I can understand why they're doing it one at a time, because they're having to port it over from the Xbox to PC for it to work with a keyboard and mouse, and it's got bugs and problems. So I can understand why they're doing it now, but I'm kind of mad because I wanted to play all the games at the same time.
Well, I mean, you're the man that's been playing these games for a long time, so you know how much they evolved, and you showed me samplings. I was very impressed with Halo. The first thing that comes to mind is realistic detail, three-dimensional images, and they are very realistic. They have gotten very more realistic than ever before. And I guess the one huge step in evolving from video games that you play and watch on a monitor would be the virtual reality helmet or goggles, right?
Yeah, you can do that, but I love just a stationary monitor. Like, my monitor is it's a 4K monitor, and I believe it's a 27-inch monitor. And when you're sitting like this close to the monitor, like, I would say there's maybe 2.5 feet between me sitting here and my monitor. And when you're this close and you're playing in 4K, which is the resolution that I play in, when you're sitting up this close, there is like so much detail. It's phenomenal.
I have a 24-inch Acer
Mm-hmm.
LED monitor, 24. You have 27?
But remember, mine's in 4K.
Oh, okay.
So you have to have a little bit of a bigger monitor for 4K because it's more pixels vertically and horizontally as compared to 1080p. So what they have to do is, where it derives more pixels, like the resolution for 1080p, which is standard high definition, it's 1920 by 1080p. That's how many pixels there are vertically and horizontally to give you the image that you are seeing. Now, in order to get a much crisper, sharper image, they have to put more pixels into what it is that they're trying to show, which is why when you look at 4K, it's very crisp, clear, and sharp. It's very colorful and vibrant. But when you're on a desktop computer and you got a 27-inch monitor, everything is kind of small because they have to downsize what it is they're trying to show to deliver that many pixels to it to get that image. Which is why if you go on an internet browser like Google Chrome, Firefox, what have you, you have to bump up the text and font size. Because if you don't, it's like really small. Like 1080p, it's probably about this big. On 4K, it's about this big. So you have to bump up that size to read. Now, for gaming, not so much, because it makes the frame picture look a very particular way, and it's very crisp, clear, sharp, colorful, vibrant. It's excellent. Now, the new resolution they're working on, 8K. This is where things are going to take a very interesting turn. So 8K is 7620 by it's like 7820 by something like 2880 or something like that. So we're working with more pixels. It's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, the resolution size, or how many pixels we're dealing with 4K, it's 3840 by 2160. So that is like the new high definition. I mean, it's still kind of buggy and glitchy, but getting 4K is becoming much more affordable. 8K right now, not so much. Remember when 4K first came out back in 2013? It was ridiculously expensive. Like getting the first 4K TV was like $7,000. Now you can pick up a 4K TV, like a decent size, like a 43-inch 4K TV for a fraction of that price now.
I remember many dinosaurs, and technology is rapidly advancing, faster than people think. I remember big clunkers. There were no flat screens back then. Oh my God! But now the average smartphone is superior in technology to the first desktop.
Well, I like desktops because, yeah, they're kind of bulky and they're kind of clunky, but you have space to work with. And if something goes wrong in your computer, you don't have to buy a whole new computer. You can just find what's wrong with it, replace it, put it back together, and boom, there you go.
Well, I have a custom built super mega PC built by my brother-in-law. It's like it's a Frankenstein monster is what it is. I got 2 hard drives. I think they're solid state. I don't know. I have the data on one hard drive, and the operating system and the programs on another hard drive. And they're quite large hard drive. And I think I got over 12 gigs of RAM. And I have advanced CPU, and I have a larger computer case with big fans to bring the temperature down, the core temperature, and also if I open this computer up twice a year, I maybe have like not even a half a teaspoon of dust because of these large fans that keep it cooler. The dust just does not settle for some reason. I don't use a filter, a dust filter for this.
Well, for me, what I do is, because I'm probably going to hop off here in just a few minutes because my friend is going to be...
I'm getting tired. I want to bang it up.
Yeah, my friend is going to be getting on here in a few minutes, but every year I take my computer apart. So I take out the graphics card, I take out the hard drives, the radiator, all of that. And I spray down the motherboard with canned air. I spray the intake, the exhaust, the graphics card. I spray everything out, and then I put it back together. I haven't done it this year, but I'm going to do it this year. And here's what I've got in my computer. And I built my gaming computer and my wife's gaming computer around the same time. And my wife, she loves her gaming rig. So here's what I've got in mine. I've got a 5820K Intel Core i7 processor. It's a 6-core, 12-thread processor. So I went with the 6-core because it's excellent for gaming. And if I have to run any background programs or do anything in the background, or if I do a live stream, I've got the processing cores to handle all of that. But I'm thinking about taking that one out and upgrading it to an 8-core.
You know what's fantastic looking, if you've ever
What?
seen it? A liquid cooled computer that has no fans and no vents. The liquid, like, it glows. You know, they have like either black light or this green light, and it's just, you know, they have like an acrylic plate where you can see the tubes. It's like a mad science project. It's liquid cooled.
Yeah, I've seen those. I've thought about doing that, but I'm not very good with plumbing, so I'm like, nope, I'm not going to do that. But back to my specs.
Yeah.
It's a 5820K 6-core 12-thread. I turned off the Intel Turbo, which means that it will boost up one core and like downclock other cores for certain things. So I disabled the turbo, and then I stuck on a radiator onto my processor. So it's got a copper block on the processor itself, and then it goes into the copper block for the heat, and then it goes into 2 hoses. There's one hose that goes into this radiator fan, and it takes the heat, blows it out the intake. So I've got that in a pull, and then it will pull air in from the other side to cool it off. So it's a 16 millimeter radiator. It keeps things pretty cool. At idle, the temperatures are at idle. I think it's 19 degrees Celsius, but when it boosts up, because I've got it clocked faster, because I've got good cooling for it. So I went into the BIOS of the motherboard, and I disabled the turbo, and I put more voltage to the processor. It's sitting at 1.110 volts because it's running at 4 gigahertz on all 6 cores and all 12 threads. And it keeps things pretty cool. Like at gaming, the hottest it gets is, I want to say 48 degrees Celsius, which is just below 120 degrees. So it keeps things pretty cool. And I've got 16 gigs of RAM. I'm going to be upgrading that to 32 eventually. Now for my graphics card, it's a behemoth of a graphics card. It's a 1080 Ti Gigabyte Aorus card. And one day I'll take it out and just run off the integrated graphics in the processor to show you how big and bulky this card is. I mean, like, this card is huge. So it's got the board for the graphics card chip. Then it's got a copper block which sits on the back of the chip, and it's got another copper block that sits on the front of the chip. And then it goes into a huge heat sink. Like, this heat sink is about this thick. Then it's got copper piping that's about this big around, and it's got 6 copper heat pipes that run the whole length of the card. So it's able to exhaust the heat out the back, out the top, out the front, and out the back. So it gets rid of heat pretty quick, but it dumps a lot of heat into the room, which is excellent in the winter, but not so great in the summer. It has 2 8-pins that power the card. At idle, it sits about 20 degrees Celsius, but when I throw games at it, this card is meant to handle 4K gaming, but it draws the most power from the computer. And gaming temperatures, it goes up to about 70 degrees Celsius.
Oh.
Which is hot. But it stays relatively cool. And then for the hard drive setup, I've got a solid state drive where
That's-
I've got my Windows 10 as well as major programs that I use. Then I've got a 3 terabyte hard drive where I keep all my games. And then to power my computer, I've got a 850 watt power supply.
Yeah, three terabytes is pretty good. This is well, of course, they're higher than 3.
Mhm.
This is the solid state 3 terabyte external. I
Mhm.
mean, forget about anything on a disk. It's obsolete. This is the way to go, is to get these solid state externals for everything, for videos, for photos, for everything, documents. Always, and keep backing them up. Keep backing them up. My brother-in-law has he puts like Linux operating system, and you can run an operating system from one of these
Mhm.
if you know what you're doing. But it's really amazing how compact it is. But I keep telling people all the time to back up important things. So anyway, we're gonna wrap it up and we're gonna promote the next. Well, it's the next show, which most likely, God willing or science willing, would be next Sunday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern
Mhm.
time, and it's going to be on Pentacles, the suit of Pentacles of the Minor Arcana. So
Mhm.
this is the last show on the tarot card deck series. Then, if we have a specific topic to discuss, a theme, we can do that. And if anyone has any issues in their life where they want a short tarot card reading from Damien Owens, or they want to ask the divining rods any questions, there will be more time to do so. So next week we got Pentacles. This was the New Year's Eve countdown 2020 holiday show. Nice having everybody. Damien, of course,
Mhm.
it's been wonderful. The series has been wonderful, and it's based on the new Facebook page, New Age Mysticism and Healing. It's off to a great start, and I'm just happy about it. Progressive discussions. The parent page is doing great. My progressive discussions Twitter channels couldn't be better. I'm on Tumblr now. Progressive discussions on Tumblr, and I try to interconnect them. So if I post something on one, it shows up on the other. But anyway, I'll be talking to you as usual
Mhm.
off the air. But
Right.
I gotta go do something. But
Right,
anyway,
I want to ask you one thing before. You mean you can go ahead and go off air, but I want to ask you something that's been curious.
Yeah. You want to ask me or the divining rods? Me.
Yeah, just ask you, but like I said, we can go ahead and go off the air.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me go off the air. Take care, folks. We'll
All right,
see
take
you.
care.
We'll see you next Sunday, 10:30 time.